W1HQ requesting radio check operating 5 watts. I'll copy on this repeater. W1HQL for the Everglades Amateur Radio Club net. We'll be starting the net in about 3 minutes. Any station monitoring the frequency for a radio check?
This is Kilo November 4 Romeo Golf Fox in West Kendall. You're pretty loud and clear out here.
Kilo Golf 4 Romeo. Kilo. What was the call sign again? I got Romeo Golf Fox. Kilo 4 Romeo Golf Fox?
Almost. Kilo November 4 Romeo Golf Fox, and it's Eric in West Kendall.
All right, Gary, thanks. Yeah, I wanted to put the radio down to the minimum minimum wattage, so I'm not, wearing this thing out. I got it down to 5 watts. I just wanted to make sure I was hitting the repeater okay. It's off a base station antenna, so it should be good.
You sound fantastic. You sound like you're right next door.
All right, cool beans. Thanks, Eric. I was caught. Forgive me.
Yeah, I heard Eric.
All stations, hello stations. This is W1HQL. Stand by for a second. I got a sneeze coming on. Hold on. W1HQL for the W4SV Everglades Amateur Radio Club net, acting as your net control station for the informational net. The purpose of this net is to gather club members and other amateur radio operators and talk about ham stuff. Get on the air, chat, and have a good time. All radio amateurs are invited. Do not need to be a member of the club to check. This net operates at 730 repeater, and it's always following the emergency practice net on 146865. Usually moderated by Lewis. That's your call sign. But everybody knows Lewis. And he runs the net on 146865. Good place to check in there. And don't forget, there's a net tomorrow, usually on South Florida hams. They announce what frequency there is on. But I want you to stay focused on one particular frequency. It's 105 universal way of checking out your radio, making sure that your radio's putting out okay, and you experiment. I'm rambling on. This is supposed to be the preamble for the net, but it's really important information, and I really, if there is any net that you should check into, it's that one on Wednesday at 146.5. Line of sight, point-to-point communications is not utilized. It's a good way of making sure your equipment is off. All right, with that said, as always, this net will yield the frequency to emergency or priority traffic. The Everglades Amateur Radio Club is an ARRL Special Services Club. We do offer ham licensing testing, yearly field day operations, and although our club is associated with the City of Homestead's Emergency Operations Center, the American Red Cross support. Our club meetings occur on the second Friday of every month at 7 p.m. over at the John D. Campbell Agricultural Center, 18710 South. Again, my call sign's W1HQ Homestead, and as always, and I failed to mention this, when I'm running the net, I'm on emergency power. I'm just running off a battery, and I got the computers and lighting, and everything in the shack is on back. So let's start taking some check-ins.
Kilo India 4, Victor Echo Yankee, Lewis. Absence traffic. No traffic.
Okay, Lewis won that one completely. So I got Kilo India 4, Victor Echo Yankee. Lewis, stand by with your traffic and relays. I'm going to take some additional check-ins and we'll get it over to you.
Kilo November 4, Uniform Tango November, Robert in the Redlands, no traffic.
4 for Uniform Tango Lima, Ron, South Miami, no traffic.
Whiskey Alpha 4, Victor, India, Sierra, Tony, North Miami, no traffic.
Alpha Kilo 4, Fox, Uniform Frank in West Kendall, I have no traffic.
Kilo November 4, Sierra Lima Lima in West Kendall, no traffic.
Kilo November 4 Romeo Golf Foxtrot, Eric in West Kendall, no traffic.
All right, let's take a pause there. And just a general statement, everyone that checked in had great signal, clear as a bell. So good job on your radios and equipment. So I did get Kilo India 4, Victor Echo Yankee. I got Kilo November 4, Uniform Tango November, Kilo 4, Uniform Tango Lima, Whiskey Alpha 4, Victor India Sierra, Vice President Radio Club, Frank Alpha Kilo 4, Fox Uniform, We've got Kim, Kilo November 4, Sierra Lima Lima, and then Eric, Kilo November 4, Romeo Golf Fox. Any corrections on those? All right, nothing heard. Kilo India 4, Victor Echo Yankee. Go with your traffic, sir.
Thank you, sir. Kilo India 4, Victor Echo Yankee. Lewis here from West Dade. I got 5 relays, Steve. The first one is Kilo Charlie 4, Charlie Sierra Kilo, Eddie. The second one is Whiskey 4, Alpha Sierra Alberto, Rick.
All right, got him.
We got Whiskey 4, Lima Charlie Mike, Ramon. And Kilo November 4, Lima Tango Zulu, Julian. And last but not least, I got November 4, Charlie Juliet Golf, Carlos.
Okay, I've got Kilo Charlie 4, Charlie Sierra Kilo, Whiskey 4, Alpha Sierra, Whiskey 4, Lima Charlie Mike, Kilo November 4, Lima Tango Zulu, and November 4, Charlie Juliet Golf. All good?
All good, Steve. Thank you. I'm 73.
All right, so any additional check-ins, and then I will move on to news.
Golf 2, Charlie Sierra.
Hi, Bill. We got you. Kilo Golf 2, Charlie Sierra, Club Secretary. And would you, by any chance, have any traffic or a relay for me, sir?
Yes, sir. Margarita, Kilo 4, Charlie Victor Whiskey, on the vertical on the keys for digging us out, 73s.
All right, great signal coming in off that vertical. Good job. Thank you, sir.
73s.
7-3.
Kilo 4, Zulu, Hotel, Steve, West Kendall, no traffic. Good evening.
All right, Steve, came in broken up. Someone had keyed over you. Can you give...
Kilo 4, Zulu, Romeo Hotel, Steve, West Kendall, no traffic. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for checking in greater this evening. Was there another check-in in there? All right, nothing heard. As of September 30th, the closing of the official observer program nears, and the ARRL has expressed deep appreciation to the hundreds of volunteers who gave their time as official observers, also known as double zeros or double O's, to help preserve the integrity of the amateur radio frequencies. The official observer program had served the amateur radio community and assisted the FCC Enforcement Bureau for more than 85 years. The double O program is giving way to the new Volunteer Monitor Program, or the VM program, and it's established as part of a formal partnership between the ARRL and the FCC signed a Memorandum of Understanding, or an MOU, earlier this year that establishes the Volunteer Monitor Program as a successor to the official observers. The first volunteer monitors should be in place and ready to begin their duties this fall. Under the new VM program, volunteers trained and vetted by the ARRL will monitor the airways and gather evidence that could be used to correct misconduct, as well as recognize exemplary on-air operation. The ARRL will refer instances of flagrant violations to the FCC for action in accordance with FCC guidelines, and the FCC will give priority to enforcement cases developed by the VM program. So, official observers were invited to apply to become VMs, and many of them did. Also, if you're interested in becoming a VM, a volunteer monitor, applicants must be ARRL members, have no history of FCC enforcement actions, hold a technician or higher license class, and have been licensed for at least 3 years. Anyone out there is interested, they can go up to the ARRL site and put in a request for an application.
Evening, Steve. This is KC4UE, Luciano, Cutler Bay for the net. 73, I'll be standing by.
There is a Luciano, my guardian angel. Thanks for checking in, sir. We got you down. good signal coming into the repeater. Do I have any additional check-ins?
Kilo Golf 4, Oscar, X-ray Oscar, Jamie, Olympia Heights, no traffic. Charlie 4, Bravo Papa, Jose Antonio, Kendall, no traffic.
Alpha Alpha 4, Sierra Whiskey, Stephen and Sunset, no traffic.
Bravo Papa and Alpha Alpha 4 Sierra Whiskey. Got you guys. Thanks for checking in. Yep, I got you down.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, November India Zulu. Robert, no traffic.
Kilo Fox 4, November India Zulu. Right. Kilo Fox 4, November India Zulu, correct?
Zulu. Robert.
I doubled you, man. I was asking you if I got it down right. I think I got Kilo Fox 4, November India Zulu. Right, Robert?
Yeah, that's right. KF4NIZ. Kilo Foxtrot 4, November India Zulu.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Sorry about that. Next thing I got is it's becoming really popular, and especially a big part of our audience are primarily FM operators, and a lot of folks out there don't have the setup yet to go HF, and using other bands. So VHF and UHF seems to be pretty popular out there, and to break the boredom of just playing around with your handheld radios or your mobile radios that are the dual band radios or mono band, whatever, you can work FM satellites with your handy talkie. Most hams already have the equipment to work FM voice satellites, and I just want to talk about that sort of point you in the right direction, that you can work on, if you have 2-meter and 440 capability, with 1 or 2 radios, you can work FM voice satellites, and there's a lot of them going up there, folks, and it's pretty exciting. It's fun to do, and it's something that you can experiment with. You can work, for example, a satellite SO50 or AO 91 or 92. Those are really 3 popular ones. All you need to know is how do you get your signal up to them, and how do you hear them? So 2 separate frequencies to do that. But the first thing you need to know is when and where that satellite will be passing over your location. And there are several commercial computer programs out there that will tell you. You can use Mac Doppler, G-Predict. I use HRD, Ham Radio Deluxe. There's also apps out there called Heavens Above. You can go to amsat.org, and there's another website you can go to, November2YankeeOscar.com. Just log into these sites, plug in your grid square, and you have access to very accurate satellite pass information. The one absolute success when you're trying to talk to a satellite, the first thing you need to do is open up your squelch. Most portable radios, I think you have to go into the menu settings and set your squelch to a particular number. So you'll have to bring it all the way down to 0 and have your squelch wide open, because we're talking about weak signals from hundreds of miles away. So don't expect satellites to be strong enough to break the squelch like your local repeater does. Noise you're hearing is also an aid in locating the satellites. When the frequency starts exhibiting quieting, that's usually a sign that you are beginning to capture the satellite signal. Because when that satellite's pass it over, the repeater is keyed up constantly, so it's throwing out a carrier constantly. So you can utilize that sound or the abatement of the usual white noise as a good sign that you're receiving the satellite. The other suggestion is you should, if you're using a handy talkie, you should improve your stock antenna. Actually, most radios that you purchase, like the Bofangs and whatnot, the antenna comes through, and it's usually rated at a negative 6 dB or maybe even worse. So finding a good performer that is available in like a male SMA, a female SMA, BNCs, whatever plug or antenna connector you have on your handheld, try to upgrade that antenna you got, and get something. I think Smiley 270A is a good one. Then you also got, you just go up on eBay or Amazon. I mean, they got a bunch of them out there. You can go into some NFJ or what's another one, DX Engineering, if you really want to spend some money and get a better antenna for your handheld. Speaking of antennas, of course, antennas are everything. If you really are interested in trying to hit, if you want to reach into the pocket and spend some money on an Arrow satellite antenna, very light, portable, easy to use, or a elk log periodic, those are great antennas. But you can also homebrew a beam antenna, and there's plenty of websites and suggestions on the internet where you can put together a really inexpensive, for a few dollars, multi or 4-element beam antenna, dual band, that you can build yourself. Just pause for a moment. I know I've been babbling on, but I got a few more things to talk about for satellites, but let's hold off and let's take some check-ins. Hope I didn't scare everybody away. Anybody have any questions or anything about setting up your radio for satellite, or how to go about doing that? Cool. Either I'm doing a good job or nobody is bothering to pay attention. So let's use SO50. That's Saudi Oscar 50. And if you want to set up your radio for that particular satellite, or for any satellite, you need to tune for Doppler. Okay, Doppler. Real quick explanation of what Doppler is. If you're standing at a street corner and an ambulance or a police car goes by with this siren wailing, as they're approaching, you can hear it increase in frequency, and as they leave you, it decreases in sound frequency. And that's what happens with a satellite traveling 17,000 miles an hour. As it's racing towards you, the frequency is increased, and then as it passes you, the frequency is decreased. So that's the Doppler effect, and that usually occurs on the downlink frequency. Not so much on the uplink, but the downlink is where you want to start adjusting for Doppler. Now, there are plenty of, there are websites that are available that actually give you a set of 7 frequencies. The middle frequency, the one that they transmit on, like let's say 145.880. And then they adjust for Doppler just 3 frequencies above that and 3 frequencies below that. And all you need to do is program those into your portable radio, into your handheld radio. And as the satellite approaches, you start at the top frequency and just start clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 through the list of frequencies that you programmed into your radio, and it'll help assist you in adjusting for Doppler. And the best tool you got are your ears, because as soon as you switch the channel, you'll either hear the signal improve or degrade, and you just play around with the tuning of your radio in that manner. If you're not using a beam antenna and you're using a whip antenna, don't hold it upright. Okay? Hold it in a vertical position. All right? Because your transmitted signal is hitting land-based receivers. Most satellites are not land-based. Figure that. So you need to tilt your antenna about the same amount as the satellite elevation. So kind of point your antenna at the satellite. Get it perpendicular to the orbit's path, and you will quickly get the hang of it as you try that out and hear the difference as you're moving your handheld radio around. Now it's really cool, because if your handheld radio can operate in full duplex, you can listen to the downlink as you and how well. You can also utilize a second radio and just have it fixed on the downlink for your transmitting handheld radio as a way of getting the uplink to the satellite. Okay, it gets a little bit busy. It just takes a little bit of preparation and planning for working FM voice satellites. Not every pass is workable with a handy-talkie, so don't get frustrated. Keep trying it out. You should start after the satellite reaches about 10 degrees above the horizon. That's when you need to start trying to work the satellite. A couple of suggestions. Don't start calling out for the satellite unless you hear it. Because if you're not receiving correctly, you may be transmitting and hitting that bird, and everybody and their uncle can hear you, but you can't hear them, so you may be tying up that satellite. So, rule number one, when you do start calling for calling up to the satellite, wait until you hear it, okay? And then when you're ready to make that call, it's quick, right to the point. You just give out your call sign and your grid square. So know your grid square. Have a pencil and pad ready, like a knee pad or something, or a scribe standing next to you. So when you hear that call sign coming to you, because it comes quick, write it down. So that a typical call would be W1HQL Echo Lima 95. Then you hear someone said W1HQL Echo Lima 95. This is WABC Echo Romeo 21. That's it. Okay? And then you reply back, Echo Romeo 21, copy 73, good day, and then you stop and let somebody else try to make a contact, or listen in carefully because other people will be trying to call you because, folks are chasing grid squares, things like that. You may be a new call sign that they're looking for or what have you. So keep your ears open. All right, you might have other stations responding to you.
KJ4WW Echo Lima 95.
KJ4WW Echo Lima 9573. Got you down.
Interesting. Thank you.
It's also helpful if you to tell them you're working handheld because it makes it even more of a challenge. And like HF, a lot of these big stations, when they hear that that someone's operating QRP, they jump on because I guess it's more of a challenge. So when we're making that call, you can also mention that you're operating by handheld. All right. Any comments? Any additional check-ins? Anybody would like to get some more information about working satellites? I've said it before. It's fun and exciting. It's something different to do with the equipment that you already have, and it gives you an opportunity to learn about building antennas. And it's rather inexpensive. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot, and it's a fun aspect of the hobby. And it's starting to get more and more popular. So if you want to get on the bandwagon and enjoy that aspect of amateur radio operations, since you put a lot of effort and time into getting your license, is something that you can get out of it. We have about 3 more minutes before we close out the net. Do we have any additional check-ins?
KG4RSA, land up the line, no traffic.
Hey, Linda, got you down, KG4RSA. Good to hear you in there. How's folks over there? Well, a couple of things if you want to try to find a good antenna for your handheld. HTantennas.com is a site that you can go to. And then, of course, is the famous Arrow model 146437, which is a dual-band cross-yacht, probably the most common antenna that's used. And then I mentioned earlier ELK. ELK was another one, and then there's also the Build 'em Yourself information online about that. And if you want to get a nice chart of the 3 most popular satellites that are out there, this was updated August 11th. You can go to WorkSat. WorkSat. There you can get a nice PDF file. Nice clean PDF file that has 50 AO, some transmit token. So I recommend you, if you're interested, head over to worksat.com. Work-sat.com. Work-sat.com. All right, that's a wrap, folks. Sorry I bored you with all that stuff, but hopefully someone found it interesting. And you can catch us on the net, same time, same place, same station, next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. immediately following the Red Cross Emergency Prax 5. And don't forget to check out your Simplex operations on 146520 at 7 p.m. tomorrow.
WA4VI.
Station again?
WA4 Victor India Sierra. Yes, Steve, that was very good, very informative. I was just thinking it might be kind of nice if you could follow that up with like an email, South Florida Hams or something, with the different websites and different antenna models and a lot of the information you put out there, because there were probably people like me who was driving and all I could do was listen and can't even remember what I had for lunch today. So it might be kind of useful if you have time to do something like that. That's all I got. WA4VIF.
All right, Tony, consider it done. Give me an opportunity to compile that stuff, and I'll put it on South Florida Hams. And then whatever I do on South Florida Hams, I'll also, shame on me for not thinking about it. I should put something on the club website also. Thanks, Tony. 7-3. All right, folks, have a good evening, and we'll catch you next week, same time, same place, same station. This is W1HQL for the W4SVR.
7-3, Steve, WA4VIF.
Steve, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Again, when do you deploy for the island?
Canceled for now. They have no way of, they have no confidence that they'd be able to return us.
Understood. I was concerned about the whole thing. Other aspects of the team, I was worried about your safety.
Good job, Steve. Thanks. KG2CS.
Bill, thanks for the comment. 7-3.